Marriage intelligence series that we're going to discuss today is self-awareness. I'd really like you to join us for this so we can do a deep dive into why you need self-awareness. It's coming up right now.
This is Joyfully Married After with Heath and Tracy. I'm Heath.
And I'm Tracy.
We've been joyfully married after how many years, baby?
28?
28 years, 4 kids, corporate jobs, entrepreneurs, and this podcast is our view on life through our lens.
Let's go.
Hey guys, today we're talking about marriage intelligence, MI, as Tracy and I like to call it. And so there's one component, one intelligence that we really want to begin this conversation with, and we're talking about self-awareness, right? And self-awareness is so important. So, if you just look at one definition of self-awareness, we're talking about, it says conscious knowledge of one's own character, your feelings or your motives and desires. In other words, you have to know yourself, see and recognize what you're feeling, and at any given time, be able to make decisions about you, your life, what you want, but even more importantly, what's best for you. When you miss the mark in marriage and something's not really clicking, it's not happening, it's not going the way that you want it to go, you have to take a look at yourself and understand, okay, before I point the finger, before I look at my spouse,
Start with
what's
yourself.
happening with me? What can I do to improve what's happening with this situation? What adjustments do I need to make so that the next time this comes around, we're not in the same place, right? And so it's about understanding yourself and how you react to these situations, making the adjustment so that you can be better, thus your relationship can be better.
Yeah, I think the key word here is self. And it's so funny because whenever we talk about marriage, we always talk about being selfless. Mm-hmm. But what we're finding is that people need to be self-aware in order to be selfless. Mm-hmm. Because if you're aware of what your needs and your wants and your reactions and your peeves and things like that are, you have you can move to turn it down a notch because well, that's not going to make me happy, or that's going to piss me off, or that's going to make me happy. So when you know who you are,
know yourself,
you can then share yourself with somebody else, don't you think?
and be a better self.
Okay.
That's true though, right?
Yeah.
You gotta understand yourself, how you react, right? And so that's a great segue into the understanding of what's happening when you're overreacting. What's happening when something is happening just that's run of the mill, right? You tell me, hey,
like
babe.
what? Like what?
Okay, so you tell me, hey, baby, I'm going to stop by the store on the way home, and I'm going to grab
I'm
two
sure he
things.
can think of a lot of them.
I'm going to grab 2 things, and then I'll be home. I say, cool. And you show up 2 hours later.
That's not good, guys.
And I'm like, what? What's going on? You coming in my house? You just think you can come and go?
Which he would never do. Let's just get that straight. He is not that dude. Let's just be... if I've done it before, let's just say, and he could care less, y'all. He could care less if I'm in these streets.
Oh my gosh. But the point is that if I were acting that way, to your point, because that's not my typical character.
No,
if I were doing that,
I would wonder what's wrong.
that would be obvious to you that something else is going on.
Correct.
There's got to be something more deep. There's got to be something else that's happening. You got some bad news today.
Yeah.
There's been some things that you've been bottling up, and all of a sudden now it's sort of bubbled over. And it has nothing to do with what you said about picking up the 2 things at the store, and then you stopped and started talking to your friend, and you did this, and you ended up taking a quick drive, and you had some things that you were working through, and it was like, okay, it's whatever.
So basically something triggered that emotional reaction.
The trigger.
So you need to know your triggers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let me just keep it personal because I don't know y'all. but one of my triggers is people not listening to me. I'm a mom of 4 children.
Yep.
4, 2 boys and 2 girls. And I have a tendency to give direction, give advice, remind them of things.
Yep.
And I'm the type of person where I know this about myself. I'm the type of person that will let you dig a hole 6 feet deep. Okay.
You actually stick the shovel in the ground a few times for them to get the hole started.
It's amazing. It is amazing. And then on that 15th time, I still don't get the right reaction. I lose it. I just lose it. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to do. I don't understand it. But the mere fact that I don't like not being listened to, the self-awareness of that helps me regulate my reactions along the way. And that's how I get to 15. So the fact that I even get to 15 is an exercise in self-awareness.
That's true. Please believe it.
It's an exercise in self-awareness.
And truth be told, it doesn't always take 15. Sometimes it happens in like 10 or 12.
Okay. It depends on what it is. So when we're talking about we're going to talk about self-awareness, for the next few weeks. But when we're talking about self-awareness, we want you to think about things that trigger you. And we want you to think about how you're going to, one, be aware of what triggers you.
Yeah. Know your triggers.
And we want you to figure out what those triggers are. Write them down. Write down what it is. And then research a little bit about how you can tamp it down a little bit.
Sure.
And then let your partner know.
Right.
If you don't know this about me, this is what I want you to know. And then we want to communicate the trigger.
Yep.
But let's just start with you, right? We got to start with you because you're going to keep showing up.
Yep.
So we got to start with you. So you need to figure out, 1, what your triggers are. And then 2, how are you going to keep them in control within your relationship?
Yeah.
And then 3, let your partner know. Let your spouse know. Let your husband or wife know. This is what triggers me when that happens. And now you know. And it's an understanding. Wouldn't you say, He?
Yeah. And another great thing about that is you want to have that conversation when you're calm, when you don't have triggers in motion.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so when you're having those kind of loving moments or jovial moments, take advantage of that time frame and talk about, hey, babe, let me talk to you a little bit about this. I noticed 3 days ago, some of my triggers were hit. And I want to talk to you about that. Maybe you can help me think through that a little bit. Yeah.
So think about those things. And next week, we're going to keep discussing self-awareness, but we're going to speak more on the gifts of us and the gifts around us and how we learn from our surroundings. Thanks again. Thank you for joining us today. Tune in weekly as we share more tips on being joyfully married after. And join the conversation at heathandtracy.com.